What's up, everybody? It's the Chill Scrub. Another day, another video. This time I'm going to be responding to Mike Hollow. He tends to make a lot of FGC content, sometimes controversial, sometimes not. There's a lot of things he says that I agree with. There's a lot of things that he said I don't agree with. This is one of those times where I do not agree. There's some things he does say that he has a point to, but you'll see more of what I'm talking about in the video. So let's not go ahead and waste any time. Let's go ahead and get straight to it.
I'd like you to read that and give people your authentic reaction.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still kind of brewing because I read that. Women in the FGC are the ugly girls from high school that never got the attention they desperately wanted. Their crushes didn't want them, the hot chicks talk shit about them, invisible. Now that they're older, they got a bit more attractive, still ugly compared to normal society. And use the FGC to seek attention from awkward dorks in a niche community to fill that empty void from high school. Around 2016, you'd be surprised how many of these e-girls would sleep around with top players for free flights to events. I wouldn't be surprised if that's still happening. Not to mention now, 90% of the e-girls in the FGC want to funnel their OnlyFans or fansleys to these desperate FGC losers. Women in the FGC are either e-girls or trans, not women. Get women out of gaming.
So this is where it all starts, right? I'm gonna go full screen for this. This is where it all starts. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but to some degree, I agree with what he's saying wholeheartedly. The only problem that people are gonna have with it is that, one, he's being brave enough to say it out loud, and two, the way he's phrasing it, it is extremely harsh. But for the most part, I can somewhat agree with what he's saying. As a person who's went to tournaments, who's went to events, who's actively in the FGC. I don't really participate anymore, but I still like to play the games from here on out, and I see a lot of the news. Go on Twitter. It's my timeline is flooded with this kind of stuff. I see it firsthand, and I can present receipts if I'm still not blocked by most of these people in the first place. So he does have a valid point. A lot of these chicks do act weird, and they are finessing a lot of these lame dudes that are out here that do not get laid. And that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. These people don't get laid like that. A lot of these dudes, they don't get laid. I'm not saying it as a shot, but they know what they're doing. They're picking on people that are down and out because they know damn well a man that's about his business, that's taking care of himself, he ain't going for that. It's just the truth. He just outright said it, and I know he's not the best looking guy in the world, but it's just because he's not doesn't mean what he said is any less true. But I'm gonna go on with the video as well. He makes some great points, but you'll see.
So what do you think about that?
I think I'm gonna just go through this a little bit slowly.
The floor is yours.
So women in the FGC are the ugly girls from high school that never got the attention they desperately wanted. I would argue that half of the men in the FGC were also only in the FGC at the time that they were because they were the socially awkward ones from high school as well, and not considered.
Although she is salty, she is right. A lot of the dudes were socially awkward in high school, and they found their own space, their own niche community to play their games and do what they want to do. So even though she is salty and she's being very, very patronizing with what she's saying, she has a point.
Mainstream attractive. And I would also say that thank God that there was socially awkward girls that were also seeking a space and found a common hobby to share with other socially awkward people, and it brought them together. And because of those spaces, those men and those girls, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Coexist?
No, they managed to like create relationships. Maybe the first ones they've ever had.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, oh, I met my first boyfriend, because we played fighting games together. Do you see what I'm saying?
Although that can possibly happen, that is not the common thing to happen. That's not what you're going to see often. A lot of times, I'm gonna go full screen for this. From what I've seen, and if you want to check me on this, all you have to do is go on Twitter, type in the name Angel20Z, it will pop up. All you're going to do is see e-thottery. That's what you're going to see. Matter of fact, there was a case not too long ago where a man got falsely accused of SA due to these FGC chicks. I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm glad that the case is working out, and I hope that he gets the justice that he deserves. But these are the things that are actually happening, not this fluff fairy tale bullshit where, oh yeah, man, this is my first relationship from the FGC. Can it happen? Yes, but what's actually happening on the forefront is crap like that. But she does have a point that a lot of men were socially awkward when they came out to the FGC in high school, so they migrated to the FGC and they found their own common place. And in his case, the person who's making the original post, I'm like, I can see where he's coming from. I found a place. The women didn't want me. I was bullied through high school or middle school or somewhat college. I found a place where I get along with these people. I would rather not have that dynamic ruined. I totally understand that, especially in this social climate that we have right now where women are pedestalized above men. It's not equality. They're pedestalized above men to the point where they can't say anything without being in trouble. Yeah, I can see where he's coming from. A lot of people are not going to agree with what I have to say. A lot of people are not going to agree with what he has to say, but I can definitely see his point, and I can somewhat see what she's saying too. Even though I somewhat disagree with it, I see it.
Hell, that's how me and Rico met. So this idea that they only played because, you know, and it's like a bad or negative thing, it's a good thing that people that were maybe ostracized because they were considered ugly had a space to actually be and to find people that, you know, had a like. I'm so mad that I'm like jumbling my words.
Do you know what I find funny about this guy in particular is
their crushes didn't want them. No, dude, you're just angry because even when you were in that, the people and the girls that were in that with you didn't want you then.
Yeah.
That's probably
Right there, that statement she just made proves why he doesn't want women in that sphere at all. By you giving this angry and tilted response, it exemplifies everything of why he doesn't want to have women in the FGC at all. So you know this for when you first said it, you know going full and well that he probably does not have the best relationship with women. He probably is socially awkward. He finds a community, women join this community, he doesn't want them there. You hit on where it hurts first, you don't get no bitches. Why prove his point further? If you're going to take the actual high road, then take the high road. Let him have it. But you didn't. You prove his point. Just saying.
he's probably still burning that even the fucking people he considered the ugly girls from high school still didn't fucking want you. That's.
It sounds like you're taking this more personally than he is. I'm going to be real with you. You're taking this way more personal than he is. Well, you still couldn't get those ugly girls anyway. And so the fuck what? It is what it is. Just like how I'm responding to this video, y'all made a whole entire video off of this. So what are we saying?
It's the truth.
But I do think it's funny that somebody looks like him. And this is why I don't go around talking about people's looks, because I'm not.
When people do shit like that, I want everybody to pay attention. When people do things like that, right? You notice how he just said, when people look like that, and I don't like to make comments about people's physical appearance, you're about to say something that's really fucked up. Pay attention.
Not God's gift to humanity.
Fuck
and
you.
He certainly
Sorry, I'm like talking directly at that photo like he's there.
Talking about other people's looks when you look like that is quite hilarious. But
I'm sorry, but I really don't. Taste, I really.
In this situation, since we're doing this, I'm going to be rude too. Wouldn't you, by saying that, be calling the pot calling the kettle black because you're not the most attractive person in the world either? I know I'm not, far from it, but no, brother, not at all. I don't understand the goal that you have with that statement, but let's continue.
Do not make it a habit to talk about people's looks, because I don't think it's a particularly nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But when you sit there and you speak about other people's looks, you open the door to be torn down yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't get the right to do that.
My stance.
He absolutely gets the right to say what he wants to say. Now, that doesn't void him of consequences of what he said, but yeah, he can say what he wants. He can say that the ugly girls in high school are the new FGC chicks, and to his point, I somewhat agree with it. But you're seeming like he hit a soft spot for you more so than him. That's all I'm saying. You know, the hit dog will holler. I'm like, it's true. People like Angel, I'll just say the names, I don't care. Angel 20Z, Monty Too Sweet, what's her name? Cyril Blast, all the trans woman thingy, whatever they want to call themselves. Yeah, those are those people. Yes, those are the people I'm pretty sure he's talking about that he doesn't want in the FGC. Cuddlecore, all those names, right? I get it. I wholeheartedly get it. I'm sorry, I get it. I'm just not, unlike most people. I'm actually proud of him that he's brave enough to actually voice his opinion. Most people are scared to say it because they know how it's going to look, and they're playing politics instead of just actually saying how they truly feel about things. And maybe we can come to some kind of understanding and have actual, talk about it. But if you can't say what you want to say, you can never have that conversation.
On this is he's talking about how all of these girls, he's making out there's a lot of OnlyFans girls or fans of these girls in the FGC, which is not true.
No, it absolutely is true. There's a lot of OnlyFans chicks. Prime example. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I was trying to avoid saying it. I wanted to keep this as clean as possible, but I don't care. Angel 20Z. I had the displeasure of looking at her Twitter and watching her vigorously blow cocks and getting semen on her face. Yeah, that was awesome to see as I'm scrolling down while she was talking crap to me and a couple of other my friends that are on Twitter that prominently is in the quote-unquote FGC that are trying to get people falsely accused for sexual assault. Yeah, no, these things actually do happen. Like I just said before, they know what they're doing. You're using what you have to your advantage. You know these dudes in the FGC do not get laid. You're using that and you're going to promote your OnlyFans or whatever because you know that these dudes are down on their luck. It just is what it is. Sorry.
There are some, but there's not a lot. And my thing is, you know what I've always been like? I've always looked at the grassroots problem. I think the grassroots problem is men. And I think that the reason that they're the problem is because
you're going to be surprised by what I say about this, but Mike Hollow, right? Mike Hollow is actually 110% right when he said that statement right there. There's a lot of things he's going to say throughout this video that I disagree with, but this one, he's right. Although we can sit here and point the finger at women all day, at the end of the day, it's the men's fault for going for it in the first place. I actively preach on this and I will die on this hill. If dudes today said, you know what, we're not going for the OnlyFans content, we're not going for bitches shaking their ass 24/7, we're not gonna go into these club environments, we're not gonna go where we not want to, we're gonna do our thing over here, we gonna level up or do whatever, and that's gonna be that, shit ceases. Same thing with the FGC. Men want these women in the FGC thinking that it's gonna be an easy lick and they finna get laid. Nah. You was lame then, and I hate to say it, you're probably lame now, and you probably just have to be okay with and accept that. It's not going to change. Women want who they want, men want who they want. Nobody wants a fat chick, no woman wants a broke dude. As ugly as it sounds, it's just the truth. You can't get around it. It just is what it is. Sorry.
Because how do OnlyFans girls make money? Through men, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They come through us. Now, I understand there's a lot of lonely men that get preyed on. Now, if we just take his example and run with it, even though it's bullshit, we'll run with it for a second. The way I look at this is that if I've got a bunch of men around me, or if I've got some level of influence, I will try to influence those men to do things to better themselves and eventually walk away from giving OnlyFans girls money. Yeah, because I think it's pointless to make a post like this because the women in the FGC are not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
No self.
Influence can only work so far. I've tried it myself. People are going to do what they want to do. You can be the most positive influence in the world. If they are addicted to the video games, they have to break that cycle themselves. If they're not taking care of themselves and they're run down, they're not dressed proper, they don't, take care of themselves, whatever have you, that's on them. They have to want to fix that. Now, you can be the guiding light or the so-called influencer, but it has to start here. It has to start with you. It can't start with anybody else.
Self-respecting man is going to push girls out collectively of the FGC, so it's kind of a waste of time to post that up.
I'm sorry, I would definitely with the social climate the way it is now, I would definitely push that shit out too. And the reason I say that, let me go full screen so I can be a bit more personal about it. The reason why I would push this shit out is because I know where women's headspace is at the time. Most of these women are not being classy. Most of these women are not being respectful. Most of these women come in here entitled and think they run shit. No, I would not want that in the sphere of gaming, in a competitive nature, in a competitive mode, or a place where it's super competitive. Why would you want to have that there? Nah, they can stay over there. Like, I firmly believe there are certain spots for men, there are certain spots for women. We don't need to blend everything. We don't. It don't have to happen. If women today said, you know what, we want this spot where men are not allowed, I am all for it. Do your thing over there. I don't want to be there anyway. Have at it. Great. I don't see men on often or at all as saying, man, yeah, I just have to be in this women's space. Besides these weird dudes in the head that think they're women when they're not. But besides that, normal heterosexual men are not pushing to invade women's spaces. Throughout history, it's always been women invading men's spaces. It always has been, and it probably always will be. Where the men are at, the women will follow. Plain and simple.
I would look at my boys and be like, guys, let's. And I know people get on to me about this all the time, but you can speak to this because I did it with you. When your life is not going well, and things are not going great, what was the one thing I said to you, Ellie? Just wake up in the morning, let's go for a jog. Just go for a jog, clear your mind, it'll make your day better, let's go lift some weights. Yeah. We did it for like a year, and it made things better. And I always tell people, start with the gym or start with a martial art. It will clear your mind, it will teach you discipline, and I guarantee you the guys on here that are giving their money to OnlyFans girls, or funneling their funds away to e-girls or whatever, if you, like,
are also not funneling it into a gym membership.
Yeah, like, use it for something that's constructive and teach them to do it. If this guy has any level of influence, rather than putting up a pointless post like this, which is untrue anyway.
It's not pointless, and it's just an opinion. This is an opinion. He can say what he wants. Freedom of speech. Let's not try to, blurring the line here. Freedom of speech. People can say what they want until you don't like it.
Why not look at the guys where you're like, oh, for a lack of a better word, he finds pathetic, and be like, let me pull you out of the dark. Let's build a little community here together. Let's try to do something. Instead, he's just dragging women through the mud.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think
he's not dragging them through the mud. He's saying things that they actually do, and he just said, I just don't want that in the community.
I'm angry because it's always like the women's fault, and like the onus is always on get women out of this.
If more women took accountability for other women, if more women took accountability for the shit that women do and held each other accountable, most men wouldn't have a reason to make these kind of posts. When men do shit, other men hold them accountable at all times. I'm pretty sure there's somebody right now that's gonna have their picket fence saying he's a misogynist and he's a bigot somewhere after I make this video. I guarantee it. There is no shortage of men holding other men accountable. But with women do not hold each other accountable. Men don't hold them accountable. And this is why they get entitled and they say the shit that she's saying right now. He has a right to his opinion. You can disagree with it as you do right now. I can agree with it as I do right now. It's not really hurting anybody. It's just that simple.
Space where it's like outside, your whole life is not this space.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, you have to coexist with women everywhere else in your life. You don't own gaming. It's wild to think that you could use your opinion and then just be like, I'm gonna.
He never said he owned gaming.
Advocate for women to completely be out of gaming.
Yeah.
And to actually die on that hill is mad to me. Well, because I just think this is such a stupid thing to say.
Even this accusation here, around 2016, you'd be surprised how many of these e-girls would sleep around with top players for free flights to events. Where are the receipts? You can't just say something like that without posting some receipts. Otherwise, you've just thrown a statement out there. We could just say you're lying and you can't prove it.
Let's say that was happening. Let's say that was happening. Are the top players complaining about it?
Yeah, maybe.
Do the top players have a fucking problem with it?
Well, of course they wouldn't. They're beneficiaries of whatever's happening. Why would they say anything? But let's go a little deeper into this, right? Of course, the dudes at the bottom of the FGC are going to complain because it's reminiscent, it's essentially PTSD of what they went through middle school, high school, college. They weren't getting any girls in middle school, they weren't getting any girls in high school, they're not getting any girls in college, and they finally found a place where they do, and the same shit happens where there's this social hierarchy because women have joined, right? I can see where he's coming from with this. Remedy the situation, get women out. Now, my caveat with this is, if women do join the FGC, right, they should not garner attention just solely based off of looks, which tend to happen. It's just biology, can't beat it. It should be a meritocracy. When it's just mostly men in the FGC, you're based off your merit. If you're good, you're good. If you're bad, you're bad. And it just is what it is. That's what motivates people to get good in the game in the first place. Because most people ain't gonna listen to you if you're fucking garbage. But when it comes to women, we give women voices and they say things, and they have some of them, not all of them, have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Now, there are some women that are godlike at games, but for the most part, a lot of them are rubbish. It just is what it, because that's not their realm. They don't do this. It just is what it is. It's not me being mean. It's just the truth. They don't do it. So they finally find a space where, again, men find a space where, hey, I'm competitive. I love this space. I found some comrades, some people I really enjoy playing the game with. And now I got to be reminded of middle school, high school, and college all over again. Fucking awesome. Great.
Are they really angry that they're getting all this, like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're not angry about it. So why are you angry on their behalf? Because you're a fucking salty bitch.
Yeah,
I mean, he could be salty. That is true. He could be salty, but you're also salty too.
Sorry.
Or maybe, this is just me throwing this out there. You see a lot of yourself in this post. I'm just saying. I don't know you personally, but you probably see a lot of yourself in this post.
Like, and maybe I'm being harsh, but it just reeks of that.
No, you're allowed to be harsh because what he said is harsh. It just is what it is. Speak your mind.
It's like, you'd be surprised how many of these egos would sleep around with the top players. Like, are you a top player?
Evidently not.
Evidently not, because they're not fucking you.
Is he even if this, like, I mean, I think he's banned from Smash
I just
everywhere.
think it's crazy to die on this hill and to be like, all women in the FGC are the ugly girls from high school. Okay, I'm reading it as all women because
it's a generalized statement. No, it's not an absolute. See, that's what you're doing. Stop doing that. I hate when people do that in general. It's a generalized statement. Generalized does not mean all. I'm gonna say this one more time. I'm gonna say it nice and clearly. Just because you generalize something doesn't mean it's all. General means majority, or more often than not. All means absolute. Generalized statement, not an absolute. Nowhere in that statement did he say all. He just said a general statement, man. Gotta stop doing that. We have to use the English language as intended. Stop trying to misinterpret shit on purpose to create a false narrative of what this person said. Take the post for what it actually is.
it's just women.
Yeah, just
maybe
women.
yeah.
It's a blanket.
It's this is, and to start it there for me is just crazy. Like, I don't know what your main point is.
It's just rage bait.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, and
it's not rage bait. His main point is stated clearly throughout here. He thinks that a lot of the ugly women in high school and in middle school or in college, they didn't get the play they wanted from the dudes they wanted. You know, those top tier dudes that are probably basketball players, lawyers, whoever, pretty much high earning men or whatever have you. They didn't get those. They come to another section where they can get all the attention and validation they want from a lot of low dudes that are down on their luck. And there you have it. And it perpetuates the same hierarchy that you see in normal life outside of the FGC. It just is what it is.
And it got me good.
Yeah, it's excellent rage bait. I said it. Let me read to you a
Hook,
post.
line, baby.
Let me read to you a post from one of his friends and what he said to me, because he's deleted that now. He took it down for obvious reasons.
I'm so sorry.
Quote unavailable. Someone took my quote. Hey, this is his friend, Tope. He goes to me, why is it that every time that anyone has anything to say about women, you are always in the comments saying, what about the man though? So first of all, I talk about loads of things. He's trying to frame it like I'm white knighting for women.
Just like you tried to frame it earlier as this dude is essentially a misogynist and that he's down on his luck, and how can you speak when you look like that? Very elitist, by the way, but you know, whatever. We could just say whatever we want, but play victim the moment somebody says something to you. I mean, it's a simple critique. Like, it seems like you're white knighting.
At the end of the day, I've got loads of...
Even though I do agree with your statement when you said that men do tend to be the problem some of the times when it comes down to a lot of these situations. Please, dudes, keep your balls in your dick, in your pants. If they don't want you, don't try to force it. It's okay.
Girls in the scene that I get on with. I've got you, I've got Chelsea, I've got other girls in my life. If I see a bunch of loser dudes online saying shit about girls that they can't post receipts for or quantify, I'm gonna call them out.
But he never called out any girl that you knew specifically. He called out girls in general. Again, going back to that thing I said before, a general statement. So more often than not, you will probably see something like this, especially if you're heavy into the FGC. He never said anything about your personal friends, so you felt the need to defend some women that he never talked about. White knighting. That's white knighting.
How many times do I call guys up?
Yeah, 100%.
My whole
That would be like me trying to defend my girlfriend over this statement. Oh, he's talking about women. You know, he said this thing that women shouldn't be in the FGC. If I told my girl this right now, that, babe, you know what? You shouldn't be in the FGC and you shouldn't touch fighting games at all. She's going to look at me like, so I don't care, because she's normal and she doesn't care about the FGC in the first place. Ooh. It would sound retarded. Like, there's no reason for me to actually say, well, go to my defend some girl that it has nothing to do with her. I wouldn't care. Again, he made a general statement. I'm not going to be like, oh, my girl wasn't the popular girl. My girl didn't get all the quote unquote guys or whatever the fuck. She doesn't care. She found a dude. She's happy with me. We've been together for 9 years. We're good. We're straight. You're white knighting. You're proving his point right now. You're white knighting. Oh boy, I know I'm gonna be the bad guy in this video. Jesus Christ.
90% of my channel is dedicated to calling guys up. Who have I got the most beef with? Fate.
Yeah.
Right? You could argue if he's a man or not. We won't get into that. But I argue with dudes all the time. So when I argue on the behalf of women, which some women don't like, as I've shown you, some girls really don't like it. I don't give a fuck about those girls. I'm talking for the girls that I care about.
Yeah.
These guys get really bent out of shape about it. Telling men to go to the gym isn't really doing much of anything but putting a band-aid on the problem.
Can I just, because this has really annoyed me as well. Like this idea that the only thing that's doing is putting a band-aid on the problem, and tell me what the fuck blaming women is doing.
Yeah.
Because it's also the only thing you can't control.
Blaming women in situations where women are causing the problem is highlighting the problem, not throwing a band-aid on it. The problem is, when you say this, it shows the power of women because you can't say anything about them without getting immediately shamed. Now, there's a saying back in the old days is, you know who has the power about who you cannot criticize. Women have the power. You cannot criticize them at all. This goes to show it. He made a statement and he deleted his own statement because he was scared of the backlash he was going to get from not only dudes like Mike Hollow, but from other women like his girlfriend. Need I say more?
The only thing you can control is your own actions and what you do. And if you're like literally expelling all of your time spewing vitriol on the internet about women, you need a better use of your...
Bro, that's one post that probably took a couple of minutes. He probably was ranting on some things that he had in his head. He said, hey, I'm just going to post it. Whatever happens, and went about his day. I'm pretty sure that he has a job or whatever. We don't know this man's personal life. You don't know. I don't know his personal life. You don't either. So that's a bold assumption, by the way.
Fucking time, my friend.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
This is coming from the people who's making a whole video on this, by the way. Hold on. So what we're going to say is that this is a pathetic waste of your time. That you're spewing, that you do nothing but spew hatred about women on your post, but you're making a 26-minute video on it. Right. Probably 5 minutes max post, 26-minute video. Right. He's the problem. He's butthurt. He don't get no bitches. Right. Sure. Makes sense.
Sorry.
You're not helping anyone.
At all. You're bringing everyone down with you in this spiral of hatred.
I can speak to this because I've actually done it. Look at Anajan, right? When we started gym, I started taking him gym at 4 or 5 in the morning. Things got much better for him. We started going gym together.
Things got much better for me.
Gym does help. So for all the men out there that are telling these guys, oh, gym's a band-aid. No, gym is the foundation.
Let's say it is. Let's say it's a band-aid for some people. Because I'm not consistent. I can't lie and say, oh, I'm such a consistent person when I go to I'm not. When I was on a downward trajectory, that really, really helped me. That routine, do you know what I mean? That stability, exactly, the stability and the knowing that I was strong and I was getting stronger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It made me feel powerful in other areas of my life. Like I could do more in other areas of my life. And sometimes that's just the fucking kick you need. to actually fulfill, you know, your goals in other areas of your life. And there is nothing wrong with advocating for other men to do the same, or other women to do the same. This isn't necessarily advice that only men can take, because as you can see,
all right, she's yapping. Let me go ahead and just be truthful and forthcoming about this. I know for a fact this is going to hurt your feelings. It just is what it is. But please, this is a cautionary tale. I go to the gym a lot. If you follow my channel, if you been with me for the last 3 or 4 years, you would know I go to the gym routinely. It's my thing. I don't have to say that I do it. You would know I do it. I have the muscle to show for it. I'm around 6 to 10% body fat. I'm shredded. I'm good. Now, the problem is that most people will go to the gym for the wrong reasons. You think that fixing your appearance is going to make people like you. A lot of people suffer from that. That is not the truth. If people don't like you, they don't like you. And what happens is where most people fall off, they finally start seeing the results that they want, and they don't get the reaction from people they think they're going to get. And I tell people what happens when that actually happens, when you don't get the reaction that you want, or what happens when it gets too monotonous and it starts to get boring. The reason why I go, rather I want to or not, like today, I didn't want to go. It's a commitment first. Just like anything else in life, marriage, relationships, commitment first. Regardless of how I personally feel, I'm going to do it because that's what I said I'm going to do. Most people do not have that amount of self-control. It requires a lot of mental energy, not physical energy, mental energy to do that. The dark truth about that is most people sell people the ideology that the gym fixes everything. Most people need therapy and help and friends. The gym can help, but most people need therapy, some self-reflection, and some fucking friends. That's what people do. And that's actually what the FGC is for a lot of these people that you're downing, that are downing out. This is a place for them to find people that they have common interests with, that they can build a long-lasting relationship, whether it be male or female. It doesn't have to be romantic. Sometimes it could be solely platonic. Just build some fucking friendships. That's what people need. The gym is secondary, in my opinion. And this is coming from a gym head itself. You look at my profile, I'm fucking shredded. That's not going to fix your fucking issues. I'm actually tired of people saying that rhetoric over and over and over again. It's not going to fix your issues. Take it from me as a cautionary tale. I started the gym before COVID. I've been going ever since COVID ended. I saw the results I wanted to in 2023. Didn't change shit. The only thing I just look better. What actually changed was my mindset as I got older and started doing more self-reflection, being more self-aware of myself, understanding why I feel the way I feel, and actually trying to fix it and doing the work on the inside. Outside doesn't fucking matter. Inside. There are plenty of people that look great that have shit personalities. There are people that look atrocious outside but have a heart full of gold. This whole gym fix that shit does not fucking work. It does not I'ma say it again. It does not fucking work for everyone. It might be a good jump start for certain people, but most people are going to fall off. It's hard. It's very hard. It's very strenuous on your brain and your mind. It's tiresome if you are not committed to it for the right reasons. I'm gonna go back to the video. I went on a tangent. I'm yapping.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's picking at straws here. This idea of telling men to go to the gym isn't really doing anything, but telling men to complain at women is doing far less than that. That's what I'm saying.
Spoken like a man that's never picked up a dumbbell.
Honestly.
Mike Hollow, I'm gonna be real with you, brother. I'm probably stronger than you. Coming from an actual gym head, that's the only reason I responded to this video in the first place. Because I'm tired of people talking down because you lift a couple of weights every once in a while. No, I am an actual gym dude. I actually do this shit. Day in, day out, I do this shit. I will not let you belittle people and say, spoken like a person who never picked up a fucking dumbbell. So the fuck what? What does that have to do with his fucking point in the first place? It has little to nothing to do with his point in the first place. You sound like those Twitter dudes that when I make a point like what he's saying, they go straight to the, oh, you think because you have abs, that means everything. That means nothing. I'm just proud of my image. And the only reason why I post myself so much is so I have a reflection. Look, bro, you don't work so hard to get here. Do not let that go to waste. Keep it up, maintaining. That's the hardest part about the gym. When you finally get where you want to go, and you have to maintain it. You have the motivation in the first place to get there, but once you finally have it, what's the motivation now? But no, the shit you just did, that's some fucked up asshole shit that you should be called out for. No, I'm stronger than you. I'll be a dickhead. I'm stronger than you. A lot stronger. What the fuck does that have to do with what he's talking about?
I guarantee you, you wake up at 5 a.m, go to the gym. Yeah, if you have to wake up at 5 a.m, just go to the fucking gym and stabilize yourself. I guarantee you, a lot of these guys, let's face it, a lot of gamers don't go to the gym. They're known for sitting in their rooms, practicing their combos all day and stinking out the place. If you structure their lives so that there's not these big voids, and one of
Isn't that the same generalizations that you was making about other people earlier that, oh, you just sit in their room all day? A lot of these people, I know personally, they have full-time jobs, they have kids, they are married, they have girlfriends, they are living their lives. The game is just a single part of that. The same thing that you don't want happening to you, you're doing this about other people. And you want people to take you seriously. This is my problem with with all of this shit. Stop fucking doing that. If you want to make overarching general statements like that, fine, cool, I can't stop you. But in one hand, you can't have this exalted spot where, oh yeah, man, just pick up the dumbbells, bro, and the reason why your life is a structure. I'm like, you don't know these fucking people, man. But then when somebody say something back, you want to get hostile about it. That's fucking stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying.
of those things that is holding them down is gym. It's not going to save everyone, but it will save more people than whatever bullshit Dalton's doing.
100% agree with that.
He then said the people who are...
No, it won't. A lot of gym people, the hardcore people that go there, they'll tell you, and I'll tell you firsthand, no matter how great I fucking look physically wise, I still have body dysmorphia. It's so bad to the point where I'm probably like 170 right now. If I drop anywhere below 168 or 160, if I'm 168, I feel like I'm anorexic. If I get to 173 or 174, I feel like I'm obese. I'm perfectly healthy. That's how bad it gets. When you go too deep into it, that's how bad it can actually get. I diet to a T. I track every single calorie and macro I fucking eat on a day-to-day basis. This is the dark side of it that you motherfuckers don't fucking say. This is the actual truth. If you're really into it, like these quote-unquote dickheads keep saying from the FGC, you would know this is nothing to brag about. Going to the gym is nothing to brag about. Or if you're trying to get yourself together, that's great. If you want to be healthy, that's awesome. Kudos to you. But understand that there's bad sides and good sides to this too, just like everything else in life. But this nigga right here is not saying that. You think for a second that it fucking matters. Like I said before, friendships, people who actually care about you, that matters. How the fuck you look at the end of the day, it does not matter. I would trade with anyone to have a better relationship with my family than this body. Keep the body. I'd rather be fat and obese and have a great relationship with my family than this shit that I have now. It's unfortunate that it have to happen to me like that, but it happens. In my situation, it's not the only one. It happens to a lot of people. Stop it. Not everybody has a dirty room and everything like that. Most people are hardworking people, and they gaming is just their only way to escape.
Who are making the porn are far more culpable than the people who consume it. Yeah, but the people that are making it, they're out of your pay grade,
That's
mate.
absolutely not true. That is absolutely not, like, unequivocally fucking false. Like, there is a need.
Pornhub.
But what I'm saying is that shit didn't come from nowhere. They weren't just like, you know what I think people might like to see? My wife fucking that guy. Like, no, there was clearly fucking niches that people wanted to see.
Yeah.
This shit sells.
Yeah.
And I think that he's angry at the wrong fucking people, or that There isn't even anyone to be angry at. This is just so stupid.
Yet you're
it's
angry.
Just grown adult people making decisions.
Yeah.
We should be angry at the stuff that is being.
Then why did you respond to this like I'm responding to this? Because it triggered something. The only reason why you're responding to this video in its entirety, now that I'm calming down, is because that it made you mad. The same way how what you're saying triggered me. It made me mad and made me want to respond to it. Stop it.
Being made that without people's consent.
Yeah.
You know, that's the stuff like this is just fucking nothing. This
Yeah.
is nothing, Burgo.
And again, we're talking to men here. I'm not talking about when you go onto the Twitch homepage and there's just a bunch of egos that are doing weird shit because there's kids on the site. That's another argument.
Yeah.
And there isn't kids in the FGC. That mostly kids play fighting games or games in general. It's a kid thing. What are you talking about, buddy?
Agreed.
We're talking about grown men in the FGC that you can actually sit and talk to.
Yeah.
You can't stop the woman and whoever she's making the corn with to do what they're doing, but you can tell one of your boys, don't look at that shit.
You actually can talk to these women and stop them from doing that by telling them the long-term effects of what can happen by doing this. By doing porn, you're actively destroying your relationship life with other people. That's number one. Number two, why the hell would you want your public business out there like that? Just saying. Number three, it's just not a good look on you in its entirety. What if you have children or whatever, what would they think in the future? You have to think more long-term than short-term. Yes, you can. This is where you're proving his point with the whole white knighting thing. You're actually proving his point right now. You're white knighting.
Yeah, let's go do something else.
Exactly.
That is that's the facts of the matter. You can scream into the camera for as long as you want about girls in the FGC.
Yeah.
First of all, they're not going anywhere because the people that have power in the scene are not going to kick them out.
It's like telling the alcoholic to pray that alcohol is just one day doesn't exist.
It's
Like
just
that's
water.
just not gonna happen at all. It will always be around.
These people I don't even want to say idealistic because this doesn't make any sense, but they're looking at this like utopia of the FGC that they'll never achieve. It's unrealistic. First of all, we want girls in the gaming space. We're not overrun by e-girls and OnlyFans. There's some, and if you guys are, and do you know what the worst thing is? It's usually the ones that are screaming about them, that are paying them. How many times does that come out?
I guess I'm thinking about the addicts. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the guys that have gone completely off the fucking deep end. Because, like, surely on average, you know, more men consume corn than don't.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
I imagine
but how
so.
many of those men have a problem?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? I think it's not.
I think there's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah,
I can't speak
I
to how
agree.
widespread it is.
Exactly, but I don't know how widespread that is. It probably is quite widespread, but I'm not of the belief that video games make that addiction worse.
Or the girls in the video game space.
Girls in video.
On Wednesday, February 5th, Atlanta, Georgia is where the best wrestle as All Elite Wrestling
Games being depicted that way from our earlier topic, but also women in the space making that addiction worse, or I don't know what. Do you see what I mean? Like bringing their attractiveness into it just really threw me off.
Yeah,
So I'm just
He literally said they're ugly. Essentially what he's saying is, if they were rejected by most people and they come to a niche community like fighting games, they would be the apple of everybody's eye. With that being said, that means they're going to get a lot more attention than they normally would. I don't know how he could summarize this any better. When they get this attention, it goes to their fucking head. It would to anybody who's never had it before. I am a perfect example. When I finally got my body right and I started getting attention that I never got before, it got to my head. I had to realize this ain't it. Doing it for the wrong reasons. It can happen to anybody. It's just that simple. And then you're preying on these people with this OnlyFans content or porn content or whatever you want to say on people that you know are not getting laid. You know they're going to buy the stuff in the first place.
I'm not following his train of thought at all. Like,
You're not trying to.
Is he saying women out of the FGC because they're gold diggers, or they're like, I don't understand.
I think what he's saying is that by society standards, they're too ugly to push their OnlyFans, but by FGC standards, because these guys are what he's framing it
I
as
see.
like losers,
Okay, so
they can get away
they're
with it.
farming these men.
Yeah, because they're
Exactly.
lower on the tier.
It
list, I
wasn't that
guess.
hard to understand.
That's the premise. Gamers are like
the girls that were
ugly.
and would sleep around with the top players with free flights to events.
Yeah, because top players.
We're on a lower tier list.
All of them are. But because the girls know these guys are lower down, we can't really go into like...
It's the same social hierarchy that you have in day-to-day life. It's just in a niche community in a more smaller bubble. That's all it is.
Banks. They can do this to bankers. We can do it to gamers because they ain't shit. That's his point. I'm sure some girls have done it.
I'm just like, what fucking point are you trying to make here, buddy?
No, his point.
You can't see past your own anger to recognize his point. Mike Hollow just said it for you.
It falls flat because he can't do it. Anyway, he's an idiot. This
Wow.
guy.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say, both are bad, but one is far worse. We would say this for drugs or anything else, but for corn, your brain just falls out of your head. It's also easy to get rid of the women making corn because there are far less of them than the people consuming it. So it doesn't even make sense on that front. Okay, well, let's just unpack that for a second. How do you plan on getting rid of these women
That's why
exactly?
we were talking about the addict. Yes.
Again, going back to Mike Hollow's point, the way you get rid of it is by changing men's perspectives. He was right about that. Can't disagree if I wanted to. Men have to want to change first. That's it. Self-control. It's hard, but they have to have it. But it stems more than that. When you have a healthy family and healthy friends and you have decent relationships with people, you don't tend to go towards that stuff as much. Most people look at corn and OnlyFans content, they're filling voids. That's all they're essentially doing. That's it. You fix the internal problems and the other problem will go away because they won't seek it as much anymore.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. You deal with the addict. You don't suddenly be like, oh, alcohol's not going to exist for you, or corn is not going to exist suddenly.
Yeah.
Those places are always going
See, she made a good point. It took her a minute, but she made a good point.
to exist. It's about creating, a type of maybe boundaries within that person, and it's between them and whatever trained professional they, choose to deal with that problem with.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, this is just nonsense. And he goes, I said to Dalton that you're farming engagement. And I said to him, to be fair, you're doing a good job of it because you don't actually care about this. And then he said, so are you?
How can you tell a person if they care or not? Who are you to say that?
Because this is how you make your money. I don't make any money on Twitter. So you can't shit on Dalton for allegedly doing that while doing the exact same shit. Clearly don't care either because your solution is putting a dumbbell in your brother's hand. Give me a break. Now he can't say that I don't care because I've actually got proof. I've got people around me. I've got my community that can talk to it. That people have messaged me privately. I've given them full plans, full breakdowns on what to do in the gym. When we're on live stream, I tell guys.
To be fair, you gave me a great plan and that really helped.
People, even people that I've met at work that I barely know, they'll be like, oh, what's your gym routine? I'll tell them. I'll say, I stick to it. I guarantee it'll make you feel better. There's so many problems in people's lives. I'm not saying gym is going to fix everything.
Yeah, no, I think that's the problem. I think people hear that and they're like, he's trying to say that fucking gym is going to...
Because that's what you've been saying throughout the entire video. That's literally what you've been saying. And then when you make comments by, this is the type of brother that has never picked up a dumbbell in his life, or these type of dudes that have never picked up a dumbbell in their life, what do you mean by that statement? Even if you're not exactly saying it, you're definitely hinting towards it.
Fix my depression. And it's like, no, dude, but you know what? It can make you hate yourself just a tiny little bit less. And that little bit can make all the fucking difference on a day where you feel like shit. Yeah. So I'm just like, don't shit on it before you try it.
Or sometimes for most people, playing the game doesn't make them feel like shit. They just have a good time. For me, music is life. Music stopped me from self-deletion. If it was not for music, I wouldn't be here right now. Not a fucking dumbbell. It's different things for different people.
Because clearly this is not helping you because you're still a salty bitch.
Aside from...
And you're not. And you're not being a literal salty bitch right now.
This whole pick the men up sort of thing. This narrative they're building around girls is bullshit because when I go to events, girls are working the cameras, they're there helping the stream setup, they're there helping the organizing.
It's almost like they're fucking...
My thing is, you know exactly what type of women he's talking about. There are good, upstanding women everywhere, right? And what I was saying earlier, these type of women that are doing the right thing need to hold other women accountable, just like other women want us men to hold other men accountable. The only thing is, men will hold other men accountable whether they ask them to or not. Women will never hold other women accountable, and it shows it every single day.
People,
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Even like I had Mimi, Mrs. Play Stuff, and Jinmei on here, and we were just sitting here talking, and I've had loads of guys on here talking about their experiences in the FGC. And do you know what the girls got as comments back from the guys? This looks like you're hosting a therapy session, Mike. Even though it was the same stuff that the guys were talking about.
I feel like I have I came into this with a certain level of anger, right? Because I'm just like, I have a problem with these type of blanket statements, you know, that don't help anyone. They really do speak.
I mean, who are you to say it helps no one? It doesn't help you, of course. But who are you to say it doesn't help anyone? Maybe somebody feels that way and they just won't say it. Like I said earlier in the video, maybe somebody really feels this way, and for somebody to say it, they feel like it's not just me that feels this way. Who are you to say that?
For themselves. Like, I wanted to be.
It's that high horse talking that I don't really care for. Like, please get off of it.
Like, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was like, you know, put the cart before the horse type of thing, you know. But no, I can't have the patience to be like, no, let's have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Then why are you talking then? You're a part of the problem. If he can't make a statement and say what he wants to say, flagrant or not, and you say what you want to say, flagrant or not, and y'all can both say, you know what, we disagree with each other, but let's try to understand each other's points of view. If you cannot do that, then what the fuck are we here for? You're a part of the problem. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to have a real conversation.
Who are you to tell them that they don't want to have a real conversation? But you just said you don't have the patience. And you're putting in their head, you're speaking for them by saying, oh, well, I just can't have a conversation with these people because they don't want to have a real conversation. No, it's supposed to be two people with different points of view. And sometimes it's not going to get resolved, but as long as you can understand each other, y'all both leave with something. You don't have to like each other. Y'all don't have to be friends after this. But as long as y'all have that conversation and have an understanding and a respectful understanding of each other, then there's something to gain for both parties. But by you making statements saying, well, I can't have a real conversation with these people. No, you're not going to be able to bulldoze them with your opinions. That's what you can't do.
They've made their mind up.
Absolutely. This is literally just placating and hoping that people that already believe this go on to share the message the way that they've brought it to their attention.
The same way you're posting this video and hoping that people believe you and repost and share the video and give comments. Two people doing the exact same things that just happen to have opposing views. That's typically how it goes. I mean, if you guys were so gracious, why didn't y'all just invite him to have a conversation in Discord? I'll do the same thing with Mike Hollow. If Mike Hollow sees this video, I will gladly talk to you, and we can both, you know, have a civil discourse about this. You know, we both can. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You know, like, wow, what a beautifully thought out point. Like, what a gotcha. Yeah.
It might be a beautifully thought out point to someone else, just not you. It's just not your cup of tea.
The women in the FGC are the ugly girls from high school. They do.
It's very ironic to
He's not 100% right, but he isn't 100% wrong either.
say they're the ugly girls from high school. That's something that they used to say to the boys that I was with, like, oh, you gamers, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Fucking
That's why
ugly.
I was like, it always made me laugh because I'm just like, well, good thing that there were girls looking your way then, because obviously I'm not yours specifically, but
Yeah.
people in the FGC around the time when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Because that's how we built those first connections, you know, those first crushes.
I built my first connection outside of the FGC. I built my first connection, well, not my first connection, but the girl I'm with now for 9 years, I built that in college. It's just she just happened to meet me at the time where I was transitioning to becoming a actual FGC member. Before then, I was part of the FGC back when it wasn't what it is now.
And first loves, because there was, thank God, actually people with the opposite sex or same sex that were into the same things.
Yeah. Now, these guys are like trying to change the world kind of guys, which, you know,
Who said he's trying to change the world? He just made a statement. See, this is something that is very, very diabolical in a way. And I'm not using that word as everybody, oh, it's diabolical, bro. No, it's actually diabolical because you're creating narratives of something that this person didn't say. He made a blanket statement and you're using your interpretation as if it's true. All he simply said is, I'm gonna read it myself. Women in FGC are the ugly girls from high school that never got any attention they desperately wanted. Their crushes didn't want them. The hot chicks talked up shit about them. Invisible. Now that they're older, they got a bit more attractive, still ugly compared to normal society, and they use the FGC to seek attention from awkward dorks in a niche community to fill that empty void from high school. Around 2016, you'll be surprised how many of these e-girls would sleep around with top players for free flights to events. I wouldn't be surprised if this was still happening, not to mention now 90% of the e-girls in the FGC want to funnel their OnlyFans slash fansly, I don't know what that is, to these desperate FGC losers. Women in the FGC are either e-girls or trans, not women. Generalized statement.
Let's be honest.
Not him trying to change the world. He just stated how he actually felt at the moment. Right or wrong, he just stated how he felt. That's not a change the world statement. He didn't say, hey, let's rally the troops and boot these bitches out. He's just saying he wants women out of gaming.
Guys, you play fighting games, you're not changing the world. But what you can do is you can help people around you. And I don't
No. With the shit y'all just said earlier, y'all don't get to keep swapping the narrative and making yourself seem like y'all are good people. I'm tired of people doing that. I am so tired of people doing that. No, you can't shit on people and then try to make yourself look good. Stop that. That whole holier than thou shit has to fucking stop at some point with the FGC. And that's one of my main gripes with the people that's in this shit. Stop it. Me personally, with a lot of the shit that I go through, I try to use myself as a cautionary tale. I'm not trying to make myself look better than anybody. I'm the cautionary tale of what not to do. You can avoid a lot of these problems from people. I'm 30, so a lot of people that's like in their early 20s, I'm like, look at what I did and don't do that. Don't do it at all.
I think you are. I don't think that helps anyone. You might have gotten some clicks from this. I'm sure you got some follows from it. That's great. But ultimately, you didn't really do anything there. I think that a better use of your time is to help people like that are close to you.
Who are you to tell this person how to spend their fucking time? You surmised all of this shit off of watching not even watching, just reading probably a tweet that took, what, 2 to 5 minutes? And you surmise this all of his characteristics and personality off of this and what he should and should not be doing? Interesting.
To you, and then they're going to be close to other people and they can help them. If in your mind the OnlyFans girls thing is a major problem, then that is the
It is. It's a major problem.
Solution to help people around you. He can even run with that delusion, and if it's helping other people with his delusion, I'll be whatever. He's not hurting them, and he's helping.
Can
these
I
people.
ask, like, what is? This is my problem. That it's not about helping these men. This is what is annoying me. That like you're going on like, oh, this is really going to help men when it's actually just an attack on women.
Well,
there it goes, and there we have it. And there we fucking have it. It's just an attack on women. There we have it. Need I say more?
Post.
Oh, not just his post, but the very idea of like getting women out of gaming and
As I said before, and I'm going to stick to my stance, there are certain places where men dominate and they should have their space and do their thing, and there are certain places where women should dominate and have their space and do their thing. Everything doesn't need to be intertwined and mingled. There's time for men to be men and do their thing over here, and there's a time for women to be women. I advocate that on both sides. It's not just men should do their thing over here. No, women should have their spaces where men should not come over there and fuck with them, and they do their thing. I am totally for that. But the problem is, anytime throughout history, not just gaming, throughout history, men will build a space, women will invade it, shit goes to hell. It's like when it comes down to certain friendships. I'm not saying this for everybody because I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying and saying, oh, it's happened all the time. But it's a generalized thing where two men can be the best of friends. A woman comes into play, all of a sudden fights happen. Now it's not her fault for showing up. It's their fault for not having the self-control. But look, sometimes things just don't mix. Just that simple. Men and women don't have to mix in everything. Me and my girl are a perfect example. I do my thing over here, she does her thing over there, and then we come in the middle when there's things that we want to do together. Healthy relationship. Is it perfect? No, but it's healthy. And as we get older, we're starting to understand each other more and like, hey, I understand that he wants to be alone, I want to be alone, and I understand that a lot of times she wants to be alone, she don't feel like being bothered. Got it.
I'm even trying to remember the Can we just quickly get up his other tweet? Is that the same guy?
No, it's his friend.
His friend. Sorry, I'm getting them confused. I'm viewing them as one people.
They basically are.
No, I think that's why. Because
They basically are. That the condescending shit, bro. It's really the condescending attitude that fucking bothers me. That's what's getting on my fucking nerves. The I'm trying to help you, bro, but at the same time, the condescending attitude, that is what's fucking bothering me. Stop it. You're one of those fucking bullies. You could have simply tweeted you disagreed and kept it moving, but you didn't. You decided to make this nigga like an ass in front of everybody. You're a fucking bully. That's what this looks like.
Responded to you, right, off of the back of this, or?
Yeah, so I responded to him and then his friend responded to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Twitter can get confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I fucking hate Twitter, sorry.
It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Threads and threads and threads.
But yeah, you're not doing this because it really helps men. Like getting, let's say for a fucking example, right? I'm really sorry because this stuff makes me mad and I have no patience for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
You take the...
You have enough patience to make a 26 to 27 minute video on this. You don't have patience. Sure.
Gentle approach, and I appreciate that because obviously I think men do need that. They need somebody else that actually has the patience to have that conversation, but I don't have that. This to me, if we say that you get what you want and women no longer have OnlyFans, right? Let's say OnlyFans is gone.
Yeah.
There's a whole corn industry that predates OnlyFans that was built upon the needs of these men.
True.
Right?
That
To
is
the
facts.
point that it was so successful that they didn't even need you to pay for the corn. They could give it to you for free. And now the reality is they're not angry. People like this are not angry that OnlyFans exists and now men are just, giving their money, to corn. They're angry that they're giving their money directly to the women. That is the issue.
Yeah.
They're not lining the pocket.
What? You went totally left field. I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with what he's actually talking about. I'm pretty sure he can give two fucks about what men do with their money as far as giving it to women. I think his problem is that the FGC that he likes in the community, and friends that he's probably gathered through this community, this place, is being overran by what he said in the actual post by OnlyFans thoughts. I'm pretty sure, I'm not gonna tell nobody how to spend their money. Do I think it's stupid? Yes, but I'm not gonna tell you up front, hey nigga, don't give your money to OnlyFans. In one way or another, whether you're in a relationship or not, man to man, for anybody who's watching, you're giving your money to some woman, somewhere. It's going to happen. It's just the context of the situation is different. Let's take me, for example, me and my girl. There's a problem with the car, it needs to be fixed. She's looking to me to fix it. It happens. Just is what it is. By helping her, I help myself. So, what of it?
Pockets of the corn industry and it's not really available. They're angry that women are now monetizing their sex.
Now, the point she could have made while she's yapping, the point she could have made that would make more sense is that he's mad that he's mad, or people like him are mad that the OnlyFans thoughts are not giving him no booty. Now, that would make sense. I can understand that point, which is the whole thing about we was talking about the whole high school, they ain't get no ass, college, they ain't get no ass, they find FGC, and now the girls, that same girls, they not getting no ass there either, and now they're really pissed off. That I can get. That argument makes a lot of sense, but mad because they're giving their money to women instead of the porn industry. You do realize that OnlyFans takes a cut, right? You don't get to be on the platform for free. And not to mention, a lot of women on OnlyFans, and nobody wants to talk about this either. I'm gonna go full screen for this. A lot of women are actually ruining their lives on OnlyFans. A lot of these people that you're thinking making millions and millions of dollars on OnlyFans, that is not the case for every woman. That's a 1 in a million chance. And most women are barely cracking a couple of hundred. And some of them are making a couple of thousand. You will be better off getting a regular 9 to 5. Just saying. That's just me.
Sexuality is what they've never been able to monetize previously, and that's why this pisses me off.
So you don't think he cares about the corn industry?
He doesn't
He cares
give
about
a
the women
fuck,
making
dude.
money.
100%. And you can tell because the whole thing is spewing absolute madnesses.
Oh, also, by the way, I don't think there's enough money in the world that can get your dignity back after doing porn or doing OnlyFans. You have literally watched thousands upon thousands of men that have downloaded your content and sent it to other people and put it on these other sites. You're selling your butthole for $5.99. There's no getting your dignity back after that. I don't think you can put a price on your dignity. Sorry. There are a lot of upstanding girls that are out here working hard and doing what they're supposed to do. And for all those women, kudos to you. But can you do me a solid? Can you do Anthony a solid and just, look at your feather sisters and be like, hey, can you not do that? Can you cut it out? If you want to be a freak for your man, great. That's y'all business. But you don't got to put it out there. Just saying.
Women in the FGC are the ugly girls from high school. I'm sorry, sir. You sound sad, and you sound as angry as I do at you.
I see your point completely. So my opinion on OnlyFans. I think it's a net negative for society.
Yeah.
But I don't think OnlyFans girls are polluting the FGC.
Yeah, I think the thing is
they are. They are. Sex sells. No matter what you do, as long as men like women and women like men, sex sells. It's the oldest thing in the book.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't blame the girls doing that.
Yeah.
I blame
It's both people's problem. It's not just men, it's not just women. The problem is both. Women understanding men's weaknesses and exploiting it. Men's problem is allowing themselves to be weak and allowing themselves to be exploited. It's a two-sided problem on both ends.
The current state that we just have got ourselves in.
The state of
social state of affairs.
It's a deep mess and it's way too far to dive into now. It goes way back.
I think
obviously.
it's just because it's bleeding into our culture, our social, the way that we interact with each other. It's so freely available everywhere. It's so hard to control.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
It is out of control. It's out of control. I guess the whole porn industry discussion, that's a wider discussion, but
it is.
The way he's framed it with the girls in the scene, I just think it's a load of bullshit.
It's just not fair, to paint, all the women in the FGC like.
You keep using the word all as a generalized statement.
This is ridiculous, and I found it quite sad.
It's a pathetic take.
Yeah.
As someone that is always around girls in the FGC, or when I go to events and see them there, they're just doing their jobs. Doing their jobs.
I mean, actually, to be fair, that's one thing that I didn't say. That half the time the girls in the FGC don't want the fucking attention at all. Leave them the fuck alone.
Then don't show up. If you don't want the attention, don't show up. It's literally that simple. It's just like the same girls at the club that wear provocative clothing. If you don't want dudes to look at you a certain way, then don't dress and act a certain way. And it's not me policing you and telling you how to dress, but you do understand you can do what you want, but understand that everything you say and do, just like with this video, it has a consequence to it. I'm going to get backlash from this video, and I totally understand and accept that, and it's okay. Same thing with women. They have to understand you're going to a heavily dominated... Let me go full screen. You're going into an area that is heavily dominated by men, and you expect them, and you understand that they are lonely, depressed, they're not getting any sex, they're not getting laid, they have no romantic relationships, and you are the minority, and you expect these dudes to not talk to you. And the problem is, in this situation, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you do not associate with these women, they will cry on Twitter and say that you're keeping us out of the community, you don't want anything to do with us, so forth and so forth. If you give these women the time of day, you end up getting accused for sexual assault. You cannot win. It's a lose-lose, and that's what I call power. Now, I'm not saying exactly what he's saying, but this is my gripes about it, and I can somewhat agree to what he's saying. I'm like, no, the reason why I wouldn't want a lot of women in the FGC unless you do it off of merit, like I said before, is that it creates a whole bunch of unnecessary drama, especially with these entitled women that we have today. They're entitled. They don't have to earn anything. And they come to the FGC without earning anything, and they get major platforms that do the women or other women that have been working twice as hard as they have and get absolutely nothing solely based off of looks. I'm not gonna act like looks don't mean anything. They mean a lot. And that's what I try to tell other FGC dudes. If you want people to take you seriously, take care of how you look, please.
right? That's like the broad message a lot of the time. I'm sorry because I'm such a potty mouth.
Do you know what the problem is?
This video.
These guys live on Twitter, so they'll see the girls on Twitter posting themselves up like, oh, look at me, and they'll think, oh, this is all girls, but there's so many girls that are they're radio silent. They'll even tell me, Mike, I'm not coming on camera. Don't want anyone to see my face.
And that's the majority. And I think that's again, this is why this is so not a fair take.
Yeah,
like
it's a disconnect.
Mike Hollow, as much as you challenged him to show evidence of what you're saying, instead of using anecdotal situations, how about you present all the evidence of all these women that are kind-hearted, hard-working women? I do agree there are a lot of hard-working, kind women that they don't want to be in the spotlight, but can you show these women, please? Like, can you show us any examples besides just word of mouth? Because I could simply say what you told to that dude earlier in the video and just say that you're just lying, and I don't believe you.
Take. It's a take of somebody that exists on Twitter and Twitter alone.
Absolutely agree.
Because if I show you my Discord messages where I've said to girls have said, oh, I want to speak on your podcast, but I don't want to show my face.
Yeah.
Loads of them. And I'm like, that's fine, no problem, you ain't got to show your face. But most of them do not want, and they've got like anime profile pictures, or they'll have like their game, it'll only be gameplay on their YouTube channel. You'll never see their face, you won't hear their name. That's majority of the girls that I end up speaking to.
Okay, I see what he's going with this, and I'm not going to sit there and act like dudes don't be acting creepy. But all my men out here that's watching this video, if you go to an event and you see some attractive women, bro, there's rules of engagement. Look, you can talk to women all day, just don't be fucking weird. And for women, understand that you're in a venue that is majority dominated by men, so you're going to have to interact with men. Don't be an asshole. Can we come to that compromise? So that way women don't feel weird and men don't feel like you're just trying to trash them 24/7. I think that's a healthy compromise, right?
When I'm like,
because as much as I'm going in on women, I've definitely heard and seen the stories of women being not women, but dudes being absolutely creepy. I've seen it, and it, like, dude, you're justifying what he's saying by doing things like that. Cut it out.
Like, oh, I'm doing this thing, does anybody want to jump on? They'll message me and say, hey, I want to jump on, but I don't want my face out there. Some girls, and even the girls that I had on, one of them was like, should I have my camera on? I was like, yeah, turn it on, it's fine. But the majority of people don't want it.
Yeah.
So this is BS.
Absolutely.
This is someone that lives online.
I agree completely.
Anyway, he deleted it because he probably...
Lives online is a crazy statement, man. Do you know this person? Do you know him? You're making these claims and these ad hominem attacks. You don't know this person. It's fine that you're attacking his argument. I get that. You disagree. Fine. But one, the person, I don't know what she is to you. I said you're a woman earlier. That's my assumption. If I'm wrong, my bad. Whatever relationship you have with this person, she automatically said, I don't want to have a conversation. This person isn't going to be open to dialogue or whatever. That's weird. You could have, instead of like trashing this man, you could have just literally had a conversation with both of these people and had it been done for there, and it would serve both purposes where you can get both perspectives and see where both people are coming from, and it would have done you a better service and you would have got more viewership, and it would have done him the same thing, since y'all both saying y'all essentially are clout chasing.
Probably realized it was stupid. People calling me an incel,
It is very incelling. I'm sorry, it's very incelling.
The term incel has been used and abused, and I'm tired of hearing that. I am so tired of hearing the word incel. It has been used and abused.
And I don't like throwing that word around, but if that doesn't scream incel, I don't know what does.
Anyway, guys, I'm sorry for my passion, but that one really got under my skin, and it took me a little while to process everything. And usually, and this is actually why I don't like to do like live fucking takes.
You've never been live on the channel before.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's why I have, but it's just one of those things where it's like, like all of the ones where you're just like, I want to see you, I want to know what you're gonna react to this.
No, I mean, have you ever been on a live stream?
Oh no, I've never been like live. Do you know what I mean?
I'm just gonna go live one day and put you here.
No.
Just leave you there to talk.
No. It would be the most awkward thing.
You'd just be saying like, but yeah, in closing, this was an L take. The people that agreed with him, L's disconnected from reality. I'd say go outside, touch grass,
and,
talk to some girls.
Apologies my language, please.
Okay, the video's done, and I'm gonna give my final thoughts. Right. We heard what they had to say, and there's some parts I do agree with it, and there are a lot of parts I disagree with it. But you heard the ending of that video. Go touch grass, go do this. All right. I'm going to say it right now. I agree with probably about 60 to 70% of what he just said. I touch grass. I work a 9 to 5. I have a 9-year-long relationship. I'm a heavy gym goer. I'm a photographer, musician, so forth and so forth. I have an active life. I have healthy friendships with people. I'm good. But when you say condescending shit like that 24/7, and then you close the room for communication, you're a part of the problem. Mike Hollow made some great points. There are good women that are out here doing their thing, you know. But the problem is, let's say he is right, and there's a minority of women doing these things. They have the loudest voices. And that's what, if people keep seeing that over and over and over again, they're going to assume that's the majority. It's the same thing with this whole incel culture and the FGC dudes, or that are musty dudes that never leave their apartment or in their mom's house or whatever, so forth and so forth. They tend to have the loudest voices. The average dude that has a 9 to 5 that's doing their thing, they don't really have time for this crap. I really don't either. I just happen to have a 3-day weekend. But that's all I have to say about this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you watch Mike Hollow's video without my opinion on it, because I want you to watch him go all the way through. I'm going to link his video in the description below. I'm going to also link some sources to some of the things I have seen. Click at your own discretion, please. I'm giving a disclaimer. If you're not above 18, do not click it. It's some weird shit. It's some weird provocative shit. But other than that, you guys have a great day. I'll catch you next time, and peace.